Okay, it looks like I am live. Looks like I'm live. All right, so this is Tammy Morrison, and I am live on Facebook and YouTube. It looks like right now. I, you know what I should do? Okay. So what I'm gonna do is I wanted to just read this book, and I didn't want to wait until tomorrow because tomorrow y'all know I come on anyway. But I wanted to start on this book because it's so interesting. I started reading it, and I said, I think every other people would like this. But it's by Neville Goddard, and the name of the book is Out of This World. And so, chapter one, which I'm going to read today, is Thinking Fourth Dimensionally. It's not a very long book, but I don't want to be overwhelmed, so I'm not going to overwhelm you guys either because it looks like chapter one might be like super freaking long. Yeah, chapter one is pretty long, so we may not finish chapter one tonight. It depends on how long I'm going to be on here. Nevertheless, I'm going to start right now. So, chapter one is Thinking Fourth Dimensionally. And now I've told you before it come to pass that when it come to pass, ye might believe. John 14:29. Many persons, myself included, have observed events before they occurred. That is, before they occurred in this world of three dimensions. Since man can observe an event before it occurs in the oh man, I don't know. I can't find where I was at. Oh, since man can observe an event before it occurs in the three dimensions of space, um, life on Earth, life on Earth, um, must proceed according to plan. And this plan must exist elsewhere in another dimension and be slowly moving through our space. If the occurring events were not in this world when they were observed, then to be perfectly logical, they must have been out of this world. And whatever is there to be seen before it occurs here must be predetermined from the point of view of man awake in a three-dimensional world. Thus the question arises, are we able to alter our future? My object in writing these pages is to indicate possibilities inherent in man, to show that man can alter his future, but thus altered it forms again a deterministic sequence starting from the point of interference, a future that will be consistent with the alteration. The most remarkable feature of man's future is its flexibility. It is determined by his attitudes rather than his acts. The cornerstone on which all things are based is man's concept of himself. He acts as he does and has the experiences that he does because his concept of himself is what it is, and for no other reason. Had he a different concept of self, he would act differently. A change of concept of self automatically alters his future, and a change in any terms of his future series of experiences reciprocally alters his concept of self. Man's assumptions, which he regards as insignificant, produce effects that are considerable. Therefore, man should revise his estimate of an assumption and recognize its creative power. All changes take place in consciousness. The future, although prepared in every detail in advance, has several outcomes. At every moment of our lives, we have before us the choice of which several futures we will choose. There are two actual outlooks on the world possessed by everyone, a natural focus and a spiritual focus. The ancient teachers called the one the carnal mind, the other the mind of Christ. We may differentiate them as ordinary waking consciousness governed by our senses and a controlled imagination governed by desire. We recognize that two distinct centers of thought in the statement, the natural man receiveth not the things of the Spirit of God, for they are foolishness unto him. Neither can he know them, for they are spiritually discerned. Corinthians 2:14. The natural view confines reality to the moment called now. To the natural view, the past and future are purely imaginary. The spiritual view, on the other hand, sees the contents of time. It sees events as distinct and separated as objects in space. The past and future are a present whole to the spiritual view. What is mental and subjective to the natural man is concrete and objective to the spiritual man. The habit of seeing only that which our senses permits renders us totally blind to what we otherwise could see. To cultivate the faculty of seeing the invisible, we should often deliberately disentangle our minds from the evidence of the senses and focus our attention on an invisible state, mentally feeling it and sensing it until it has all the distinctness of reality. Earnest concentrated thought focused in a particular direction shuts out other sensations and causes them to disappear. But we have to concentrate on the state desired in order to see it. The habit of withdrawing attention from the region of sensation and concentrating it on the invisible develops our spiritual outlook and enables us to penetrate beyond the world of sense to see that which is invisible. For the invisible things of him from the creation of the world are clearly seen, Romans 1:20. The vision is completely independent of the natural faculties. Open it and quicken it. Without it, these instructions are useless, for the things of the Spirit are spiritually discerned. A little practice will convince us that we can, by controlling our imagination, reshape our future in harmony with our desire. Desire is the mainspring of action. We could not move a single finger unless we had a desire to move it. No matter what we do, we follow the desire which at the moment dominates our minds. When we break a habit, our desire to break it is greater than our desire to continue in the habit. Now I'm gonna speak to that about like smoking, because I had somebody ask me about, how to quit smoking. And honestly, this was what I told him. I said, once you have a desire, a firm desire, and set that intention to quit, you can do it, and you don't need any props. Because I quit smoking, I didn't do any patches. I smoked with patches. The pills made me feel crazy. I mean, had me having nightmares, night terrors. So I didn't do those. Wellbutrin, they gave me that didn't work. So basically, I just set my intention, made a decision, and just quit. And does that mean that, I didn't have cravings afterwards? No, that's not what that means. That means that I just did not act on those. Because you can have cravings, but you don't have to act on them. The desires which impel us to action are those that hold our attention. A desire is but an awareness of something we lack or need to make our life more enjoyable. Desires always have some personal gain in view. The greater the anticipated gain, the more intense is the desire. There is no absolutely unselfish desire. Where there is nothing to gain, there is no desire, consequently, no action. The spiritual man speaks to the natural man through the language of desire. The key to progress in life and to the fulfillment of dreams lies in ready obedience to its voice. Unhesitating obedience to its voice is an immediate assumption. All right. Okay. Let's see. Okay, unhesitating obedience to its voice is an immediate assumption to the wish fulfilled. To desire a state is to have it. As Pascal has said, you would not have sought me had you not already found me. Man, by assuming the feeling of his wish fulfilled and then living and acting on this conviction, alters the future in harmony with this assumption. Assumptions awaken what they affirm. So, people that tell you affirmations don't work, they're not doing them correctly. And the other thing is, too, you have to have patience, just like he's saying. Unhesitating obedience to his voice is an immediate assumption of the wish fulfilled. So as you set that intention and create that desire within you, um, and you actually step into the feeling of having the thing that you're already doing, and so you act like you have it. And one of the things that I have to say is that in that shifting and in that acting and that moving, it's like an example I can give is like if you are asserting abundance, but you're afraid to buy shit. things that you need. And so that is one of the ways that I transcended this particular thing, because I said, you know what, if I'm abundant and I have everything that I desire and everything that I need, then why am I hesitating on getting something that I know that I need? Something that, because I would put it off and just wait, say, okay, you know what, I don't need this right now. I'm going to wait, but I can't, hey, Deanna, thank you for joining. I can't put it off, so I have to go ahead and do the thing. And that's what it looks like when you are living and acting on the conviction. When you're living and acting on it, then you'll begin to do those things that maybe scared you before. All right, so I'm going to go back. As soon as man assumes the feeling of his wish fulfills, his four-dimensional self finds ways for the attainment of this end, discovers methods for its realization. So as soon as you decide and set that intention that this wish is fulfilled, then your fourth dimensional self will find a way to do it. So the point is, we don't have to know the how, we just have to know that it is. I know of no clearer definition of the means by which we realize our desires than to experience in imagination what we would experience in the flesh were we to achieve our goal. This experience of the end wills the means. Oh my God, this is so amazing. With its larger outlook, the fourth dimensional self then constructs the means necessary to realize the accepted end. The undisciplined mind finds it difficult to assume a state which is denied by the senses. Here is a technique that makes it easy to encounter events before they occur, to call things which are not seen as though they were. Romans 4:17. People have a habit of slighting the importance of simple things, but this simple formula of changing the future was discovered after years of searching and experimenting. The first step in changing the future is desire. That is, define your objective, know definitely what you want. Secondly, construct an event which you believe you would encounter following the fulfillment of your desire, an event which implies fulfillment of your desire, something that will have the action of self predominant. Thirdly, immobilize the physical body and induce a condition akin to sleep. Lie on a bed and relax in a chair and imagine that you are sleepy. Then, with eyelids closed and your attention focused on the action you intend to experience, in imagination, mentally feel yourself right into the proposed action. Imagining, oh hell, imagining all the while that you are actually performing the action here and now. You must always participate in the imaginary action, not merely stand back and look on, but you must feel that you are actually performing the action so that the imaginary sensation is real to you. It is important always to remember that the proposed action must be one which follows the fulfillment of your desire. And also, you must feel in yourself into the action until it has all the vividness and distinctness of reality. All right, so I'm going to go over this one last thing, this one um process. That's what it is. This one process to help you to get into that space where you are in the wish fulfilled. All right, so here, this process is a process to get into the feeling of the wish fulfilled. So immobilize the physical body and induce a condition akin to sleep. Lie on a bed or relax in a chair and imagine, Lord Jesus. Okay. All right. So this process is to help to put you in that visioning state. So immobilize the physical body and induce a condition akin to sleep. Lie on a bed or relax in a chair and imagine that you are sleepy. Then, with eyelids closed and your attention focused on the action you intend to experience, in imagination, mentally feel yourself right into the proposed action, imagining all the while that you are actually performing the action here and now. You must always participate in the imaginary action, not merely stand back and look on, but you must feel that you are actually performing the action so that the imaginary sensation is real to you. So it's important to always remember that the proposed action must be one which follows the fulfillment of your desire. And also, you must feel yourself into the action until all the vividness and distinctness of reality. Okay. So, thirdly, let me see. Okay. So, for example, suppose you desire promotion in your office. Being congratulated would be an event you would encounter following the fulfillment of your desire. So, having selected this action as the one you will. Okay. So, let's see. Having selected this action as the one you will experience, in imagination, immobilize the physical body and induce a state akin to sleep, a drowsy state, but one in which you are still able to control the direction of your sleep, your thoughts. A state in which you are attentive. With now imagine that a friend is standing before you. Put your imaginary hand into his. First, feel it to be solid and real. Then carry on an imaginary conversation with them in harmony with the action. Do not visualize yourself at a distance in point of space and at a distance in point of time being congratulated on your good fortune. Instead, make elsewhere here and the future now. The future event is a reality now in a dimensionally larger world. And oddly enough, now in a dimensionally larger world is equivalent to here in the ordinary three-dimensional space of everyday life. The difference between feeling yourself in action here and now and visualizing yourself in action as though you were on a motion picture screen is the difference between success and failure. The difference will be appreciated if you will now visualize yourself climbing a ladder. All right, let's see. Where was I? But whether we awaken there or not, we are actually performing the action in the fourth dimensional world, and we will reenact it in the future here in the third dimensional world. Now, that sounds so crazy. Experiences taught me to restrict the imaginary action, to condense the idea which is to be the object of our meditation into a single act, and to reenact it over and over again until it has the feeling of reality. Otherwise, the attention will wander off along an associational tract, and hosts of associated images will be presented to our attention. In a few seconds, they will lead us hundreds of miles away from our objective in point of space and years away in point of time. If we decide to climb a particular flight of stairs because that is the likely event to follow the realization of our desire, then we must restrict the action to climbing that flight of stairs and keep on doing so until the imaginary action has all the solidity of and distinctness of reality. The idea must be maintained in the field of presentation without any sensible effort on our part. We must, with the minimum of effort, permeate the mind with the feeling of the wish fulfilled. Drowsiness facilitates changes because it favors attention without effort, but it must not be pushed to the state of sleep in which we shall no longer be able to control the movements of our attention, but rather a moderate degree of drowsiness in which we are still able to direct our thoughts. A most effective way to embody a desire is to assume the feeling of the wish fulfilled, and then in a relaxed and sleepy state repeat over and over again, like a lullaby, any short phrase which implies fulfillment of our desire, such as thank you, as though we address the higher power for having done it for us. I usually like to say thank you, thank you, thank you. If forever we seek a conscious projection into a dimensionally larger world, then we must keep the action going right up until sleep ensues. Experience and imagination with all the distinctness of reality, what would be experienced in the flesh, were you to achieve your goal, you shall in time meet it in the flesh as you met it in your imagination. Fill the mind with premises that is assertions presumed to be true, because assumptions, though unreal to the senses, if persisted in until they have the feeling of reality, will harden the facts. To an assumption, all means which promote its realization are good. It influences the behavior of all by inspiring in all the movements, the actions, and the words which tend towards its fulfillment. To understand how man molds his future in harmony with his assumption, we must know what we mean by a dimensionally larger world, for it is to a dimensionally larger world that we go to alter our future. The observation of an event before it occurs implies that the event is predetermined from the point of view of man in the three-dimensional world. Therefore, to change the conditions here in the three dimensions of space, we must first change them in the four dimensions of space. Man does not know exactly what is meant by a dimensionally larger world and would no doubt deny the existence of a dimensionally larger self. He is quite familiar with the three dimensions of length, width, and height, and he feels that if there were a fourth dimension, it should be just as obvious to him as the dimensions of length, width, and height. A dimension is not a line, it is any way in which a thing can be measured that is entirely different from all other ways. That is, to measure a solid fourth dimensionally, we simply measure it in any direction except that of its length, width, and height. Is there another way of measuring an object other than those of length, width, and height? Time measures my life without employing the three dimensions of length, width, and height. There is no such thing as an instantaneous object. Its appearance and disappearance are measurable. It endures for a definite length of time. We can measure its lifespan without using the dimensions of length, width, and height. Well, I am going to be done, y'all, because I am tired. So I will pick back up. I think it's about three more pages. I think it's about three more pages in this chapter. So I will pick back up on it. I'll finish it tomorrow when I come on and do my Thursday live. All right, I will finish it tomorrow. I mean, finish that chapter anyway. We'll finish that chapter tomorrow, and then I'll pick back up on it next Tuesday um, for the next chapter or whatever, in the next live. So again, thank you for joining. Thank you that caught us live. Thank you for whoever is catching the replay. Make sure you hit hashtag replay so that I can greet you. Super excited to be here as usual. Like I said, I'll be back on tomorrow because Thursdays is my normal live day. I do lives on Tuesdays and Thursdays, and Sunday service with the Morrisons. I also do lives on Wednesday night with my Megan Marie, my Ebony and Ivory partner. So again, thank you for joining me. It's been a blast. I always have so much fun when I come live. Make sure that you are following me on YouTube. I don't have the link in there, but also join my healing hub. I have a healing hub that I created that is weekly healing trainings on Zoom. It'll be held in a private Facebook group. But it's the healing hub because I know that people need that. And I'm looking for founding members now, $33 a month forever. As long as you want. Um, you can cancel anytime, always that. But yeah, so $33 a month. I figured it's less than a cup of Starbucks a day. If you drink Starbucks every day, then you have probably more than triple that price of that healing, and you will have like basically a healer on call because you have access to me via messenger, Voxer. I think I'm going to set up, and then email and in the group. So you can post in the group, and ask any questions that you like. We're also going to do a thing where we give away a free healing every month. So you'll get a one-to-one session with me You can it's like randomly drawn. It's going to be randomly drawn. So according to the people that are in the healing hub. So if you're in the healing hub and you have an opportunity to get a free healing every month, personal healing every month, but you'll also be a part of a community, a part of a healing community, a group of people, like-minded people that are looking for healing. Because I don't know if y'all know, but people are dropping dead every day. People are committing suicide, and much of that, and I'm gonna say something that's probably controversial, but I don't care. um Many of those people are so full of trauma that if they were able to get some help, to relieve some of that trauma and some of that stress and some of that tension, we wouldn't be having all these people dropping dead with suicide and killing themselves. It's ridiculous. And so I aim my one of my missions is to help people with that, help people to deal with those traumas and stuff, because trauma can be anything. Trauma is not, people think of trauma like, like PTSD for the veterans and things like that. But trauma can be, you know, your parent slapping the hell out your ass for no reason, or, trauma can be that, you were molested, may not have been, penetrated or whatever, but somebody touched you inappropriately when you were a child. That can be a trauma too. Or, I mean, there's so many triggers and traumas that people have that that we can help them to transmit and fix. And also, move through and get rid of the limiting beliefs that no longer serve you. So again, thank you so much for joining me. And if you would like to have a session with me, reach out, send me a private message on wherever you are watching, and we'll talk about it and see what it is that you need, and if it's something that I can do to help you. Or, and here's my thing, y'all, if it's something, if I can't help you, I know people that probably can. So it's not even about that, because I truly, honestly don't believe in competition. I believe in collaboration. So again, thank you for joining. Hope that you guys have a wonderful rest of your evening, day, night, weekend, whatever it is for you when you're catching this. But I will be back on again tomorrow. So we will talk then. Bye now.